The vaqueris neon flicker in the cold midnight mist, each door alf open like a secret. Lena stopped when they saw him, a silent soldier, face shadow beneath a helmet, struggling to pay for bread with trembling hands. No words. Used eyes, haunted, tired. She stepped in, packed quietly, and nodded once. Hours later, the groans shook, tanks rumbled past her window. Her street was no longer hers. Welcome to Snap Stories Let's Started. Lena lived on the third floor of a crumbling Soviet apartment block, used far enough from the city center to avoid attention back close enough to feel every tremor of unrest. At 26, Saya learned perfected the art of invisibility, never too loud, never too involved. Her nights were spent at the dimly lit community radio station on Gorky Street, where she were the overnight shift, playing soft jazz and pre-recorded news from a neutral script. Few listened, but she liked the silence. She lived alone, by choice. Her mother, a retired nurse, moved to the countryside after her father vanished during a protest 10 years ago. Nobody, no explanation. Use a photograph on the mantel and a gap that never fully closed. Lena never marched, never shouted. While her city split down invisible lines of loyalty and resentment, she clung to her bubble of neutrality. Politics were dangerous. Cities meant enemies, and enemies meant loss. Still, she helped where she could, small things. Fixing a neighbor's power line, helping an old man find his doctor's address, leaving warm for by doors when she heard crying. She believed in people, not flags. But even kindness had grown complicated. One miss, one wrong word, and you were labeled. She moved like a shadow between curfews and patrols, ducking under tension seeking no to task. But being the guarded wire in her chest, there lived a flicker, a quiet urge to do good, to make meaning from her father's silence. She had no ideology, no allegiance, used a quiet need to help, and an avin sense that neutrality was becoming a luxury she couldn't afford. The morning after the bread shop encounter, the city was different. It began sadly. No morning broadcasts, no traffic reports, no distant hum of buses. The signal light on Lena's console blinked an unfamiliar pattern. 3 short pulses, 1 long. Cody, a warning used only in emergencies. Then silence. The station, like the city, went dark. Outside, the streets had emptied. Concrete barricades appeared where market stalls once stood. Rumors whispered through half-open windows. Soldiers, not locals, not declared. And then she saw him, the same soldier, the one with the trembling hands. But this time, it wasn't quiet. He stood tall at a newly erected checkpoint near her building, barking orders, his voice sharp and unquestioned. His uniform had no insignia, but the rifle slung across his back spoke louder than any flag. Their eyes met. Recognition flared. His gaze locked onto hers, lingering just a second too long. And knew her. Remember the breath, the moment of quietness. But his face gave nothing away. He turned, issued a command, and let her pass without a word. Lena's pulse quickened. She walked quickly, air pounding beneath her coat, not daring to look back. Why had they let her go? What did it mean? Back in her apartment, the walls closed in. The city was being taken without headlines, without declaration. No one who was in charge, or who told truth. Phones were silent. Internet gone. Only shadows moved with purpose. And now, she was caught in the web. Did it spare her out of gratitude? Or did it mark her? She had 3 options, and little time. Stay silent and blend in, pretend nothing a chance. Run, leave the city before the rules close completely. Or act, use the silence at the station, the hidden mic access, the last working transmitter, if side earth. Neutrality had been her armor. But now, it felt like a caje. The city settled into an eerie rhythm, controlled chaos masked by silence. Tanks parked like statues at intersections. Soldiers patrolled, but no one spoke of who they were or why they come. The local news was crab clean. Radio frequencies hummed with nothing. Electricity cut at hours. And through it all, Lena moved like a whisper, eyes wide open. She began documenting, quietly, obsessively, with an old phone kept on airplane mode. She captured images. Foreign uniforms at checkpoints, vehicles with fuel plots, buildings being taken over in the night. She clipped audio from strange broadcasts that based on unused frequencies. She grew cool in notice in a war not to walk. Usina Zipper her father taught her as a child, back when puzzles were used games, not survival. Sainu which alisto sleep throat, which backdoor routes avoided checkpoints. She stopped to see her front door. Her apartment veka mesel. Safe only when empty. Say bolted the last stairs, but sleeping on wet concrete. The station's rear lock was blocked by an armored truck, but the alley beside it was open. As I rounded the corner, voices closed in. Then, a clash of command. Two soldiers appeared, weapons raised, but between them stood him. The soldier. He didn't speak. Again, but he lifted one hand, palm out, stopping them. She froze. They hesitated. Then he said only one word. Clear. It was an oak. The unique pose, told on. She sprinted. Turned the alley. Didn't stop. Behind her, a single shot cracked through the early morning air. She flinched. But she didn't look back. Laying across the border under cloud cover, escorted by two strangers with foreheads and a map she mimicked by air. They didn't speak. Neither did she. By the time she stepped onto the cracked asphalt of the narrowing safe zone, her legs were numb and her chest heavy with 1,000 unsight things. The first thing she saw was a Smalroy station. Tin roofed, guarded by their volunteers and medics with sunken eyes. The second thing was a TV. Her voice was on it. Some part of this story isn't finished. Clips from her broadcast had leaked, fragmented audio, overlaid with shaky footage from inside the city. Foreign media networks picked it up. Analysts debated the footage's authenticity. Activists shared her words with translated subtitles. Hashtags bloomed like fire through digital spaces. She was offered protection. Interviews, meetings, a new name, if she wanted one. But Lena stayed quiet. She watched from safe houses as protests erupted in neighboring cities. Embassies issued statements. Aide convoys were dispatched. Cameras finally turned toward the place I used to call home. Her footy, granny, urgent, became a symbol. One thing was missing. The soldier. No one could confirm what happened to him. Rumors whispered of a public execution. Others claimed he was arrested for treason. A few insisted a defective handgun on the ground, used like her. She didn't ask. Didn't want confirmation. But every time she saw the footage of her last transmission, the red light blinking, the soft static used before her voice began. She remembered his face, framed by flawless and authority, choosing silence over command, and never spoke. But maybe, like her, I believe not everything had to be loud to be heard. In exile, Lena took a different name but kept her voice. She became a reporter, freelance affairs, then sought after for her carrying first-hand insight. Her stories focus on people in the margins, the ones who whisper instead of shouted, who helped without being seen. She never returned home, but home never left her. Every broadcast she made, every story she told, carried an echo of that night. The blinking red light, the staticum, the soldier's eyes. A soldier won metoron. Pues, said nothing else. Not once. But didn't have to. His silence was the loudest thing I've heard in weeks. And that's why I'm still here. Because some part of this story isn't finished. The red light flickered. A distant alarm violated. Her stomach dropped. They phoned her. Boots sounded down the lower stairs. Orders were shouted. She yanked the drive from the console, stuffed it into her pocket, and burst through the fire escape door. Steel against the steel. Sirens behind her. She bolted the last stairs, boots sleeping on wet concrete. The station's rear lock was blocked by an armored truck, but the alley beside it was open. As I rounded the corner, voices closed in. Then, a clash of command. Two soldiers appeared, weapons raised, but between them stood him, the soldier. He didn't speak. Again, but he lifted one hand, palm out, stopping them. She froze. They hesitated. Then he said only one word, clear. It was an oak. The unique pose, told on. She sprinted. Turned the alley. Didn't stop. Behind her, A single shock cracked through the early morning air. She flinched, but she didn't look back. Lena crossed the border under cloak cover, escorted by two strangers with foreheads and a map she mimes by yard. They didn't speak. Neither did she. By the time she stepped onto the cracked asphalt of the neighboring safe zone, her legs were numb and her chest heavy with 1,000 unsight things. The first thing she saw was a small station. Tin-roofed, guarded by the volunteers and medics with sunken eyes. The second thing was a TV. Her voice was on it. Some part of this story isn't finished. Clips from her broadcast are leaked, fragmented audio, of her live with shaky footage from inside the city. Foreign media networks picked it up. Analysts debated the footage's authenticity. Activists shared her words with translated subtitles. Hashtags bloomed like fire through digital spaces. She was offered protection, interviews, meetings, a new name, if she wanted one. But Lena stayed quiet. She watched from safe houses as protests erupted in neighboring cities. Embassies issued statements. Aide convoys were dispatched. Cameras finally turned toward the place I used to call home. Her footy, granny, urgent, became a symbol. One thing was missing. The soldier. No one could confirm what happened to him. Rumors whispered of a public execution. Others claimed he was arrested for treason. A few insisted a defected and gun underground, used like her. She didn't ask. Didn't want confirmation. She thought about him often. His silence, his warning, his final choice. Was a man conflicted, trapped in duty? Or was it something more than heroes? A believer who changed his mind to latte? She never got an answer. But in the quiet hours before going live, she remembered the breath, the stillness. The way didn't speak, but didn't stop her. That one moment, so small, had unraveled everything. Her kindness, his silence. It spun into a warning, a broadcast, a desperate escape. To leave a chant, and the city had woken up. Lena didn't need to know the ending. Some stories didn't tie up neatly, but she had survived. She had spoken. And somewhere, buried deep in the fabric of her work, was the truth. Sometimes, the quietest acts the loudest aids.